Welcome to the GAINN Daily Brief. Here's what matters today and why it matters now. Iran unrest continues as legal pressure escalates. This is a continuation of the protests and crackdown we've been following in Iran. What changed? Iranian authorities are now signaling fast-track trials and executions for detained protesters, alongside renewed warnings to the United States and Israel against any intervention. Airspace disruptions earlier this week have eased, but the legal response has hardened. What didn't change? The scale of public anger, the government's reliance on force, and Iran's isolation on the international stage. Why this matters? This moves the crisis from street confrontation into institutional repression. Once legal machinery is mobilized, pressure shifts from visibility to permanence. That raises the stakes for sanctions, diplomacy, and regional stability. The US threatens tariffs on countries trading with Iran. This is a new escalation layered onto existing sanctions. What changed? The US warned that countries continuing trade with Iran could face tariffs of up to 25%. India and other trading partners are now seeking urgent clarification. What didn't change? The US strategy of economic pressure as its primary tool against Iran. Why this matters? This widens the impact beyond Iran itself. It introduces secondary consequences for global trade partners and risks pulling neutral countries into a sanctions standoff. Economic confrontation is becoming the enforcement mechanism. Platforms tighten controls on deepfake and image misuse. This is a continuation of the global AI governance debate. What changed? Elon Musk's xAI has restricted image editing features in its Grok system following regulatory pressure from California and European authorities targeting deepfake and sexualized AI content. What didn't change? The rapid deployment of AI tools ahead of regulation and the struggle to balance innovation with harm prevention. Why this matters? This signals that AI regulation is shifting from discussion to enforcement. Platforms are now adjusting product features, not just policies. That's a meaningful line crossed for the tech sector. European troops deploy to Greenland as Arctic tensions rise. This is a new development in a long-building strategic competition. What changed? France, Germany, Norway, and Sweden have deployed troops to Greenland amid stalled security talks with the United States and growing concern over Arctic access and influence. What didn't change? The Arctic's growing importance due to climate change, resource access, and military positioning. Why this matters? Greenland is no longer peripheral. Arctic security is becoming a European issue, not just a US-Russia-China triangle. Climate change is turning geography into strategy. Israel intensifies operations in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. This is a continuation of regional spillover from the Gaza conflict. What changed? Israeli military activity in eastern Lebanon has increased, with deeper strikes and broader warnings about Hezbollah positioning. What didn't change? The absence of a durable ceasefire and the risk of a wider regional conflict. Why this matters? Every expansion widens the margin for miscalculation. The longer these operations continue, the harder containment becomes. Markets, diplomacy, and civilian stability all remain exposed. UK lawmakers warn climate messaging is failing. This is a policy recalibration, not a rollback. What changed? A UK parliamentary committee concluded that net zero messaging is losing public traction and urged a reframing focused on cost, comfort, and everyday benefit. What didn't change? The UK's climate targets and legal commitments. Why this matters? Climate policy doesn't fail only on technology. It fails on trust and communication. This is an early admission that political language matters as much as emissions data. Today's through-line is pressure moving inward. Governments are tightening legal tools. Economic measures are reaching beyond borders. Tech regulation is becoming tangible. Geography, once dismissed as remote, is now strategic. And climate policy is confronting public reality. That's your GAINN Daily Brief.